Hey everybody, Freddy here with another video. Today we're finalizing the series on saving money in Azure Monitor. It's been a long series, I know, but today we're going to be focusing on the 10 commandments on how to save money in Azure Monitor. Some do's, some don'ts. We're going to be focusing on a lot of the little details. If you haven't watched the series, I would recommend that you do. There's information on how to save money on the ingest, how to save money on the data retention, how to save money using transformations once the data is already in the system. There's a lot of information. If you haven't done so, I would recommend that you watch it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So a lot of this information that you're gonna hear in this video is covered in the series. So if you haven't watched the series, I would recommend that you do. Now this video covers 10 areas of where we can focus to make sure that we save money in Azure Monitor. Some of these things, like I said, is already included in the series. We're gonna focus on a framework called script map. If you notice, it's 10 letters. So this is an easy way for you to remember. It's a mnemonic. Script map is a 10 commandments. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the first one. All right, commandment number 1. Ingest only what is needed. Filter at the source with data collection rules and transformations, and drop noisy fields. If you watch the series and you watch the ingest video, you probably remember that we talked about ingesting only what is necessary and also dropping the noise. When we said dropping the noise, it means doing transformations so that when the data is coming in, you're filtering that data, you're not ingesting everything, and you're only selecting the fields that you want to capture. We talked about a strategy where you can take data and send it to Blob, and you can send another stream to the log analytics workspace, but that stream is with transformation, so you're only sending the data that you need and not everything. Commandment 2, route logs to cheaper lands. Send the full logs to the Blob storage and a subset to log analytics. This is that transformation. In the transformation video, I showed you 2 strategies. One of them where you can set up a transformation that sends all the data to blobs, and you can also set up a strategy that you send a subset to the log analytics workspace. When you combine that with basic logs and transformations and also the data retention strategies, definitely you're going to be able to only keep the data that you need. So this second commandment is the one that says send the full logs to Blob and a subset to log analytics workspace. So again, commandment number 2, route log to cheaper lands. Commandment number 3, retain wisely and commit wisely. Use hot versus archive retention. If ingestion is predictable, use commitment tiers. Commitment tiers is something we haven't talked about, but we will talk about in this case, in this video. Commitment tiers is when you know how much data you're ingesting on a daily basis, you can commit to that amount and you're gonna save money. This is more like a reservation, even though it's not a reservation per se, it's more of a commitment tier. When you commit to a specific amount, you can save money as well. So that's commitment number 3, retain wisely and commit wisely. Use hot versus archive. What this means is, if you remember or if you haven't watched it, please watch it, where you go into the log analytics workspace and you can do it on a per table basis, where you can change the retention period and you can adjust the whole retention period so you can combine the hot and the archive tier to save money. Commandment number 4, applying sample on high volume telemetry. App insights can get noisy if not controlled. Apply sampling on high volume telemetry. In the video, when we talked about ingest, I showed you a way that you can change the sampling of the app insights information coming in. The app insights is the information that is coming from specific areas, and what the sampling means is how much data it's going to look at. The sampling, let's just say And this is one of the things that we talked about in that video. If you have, I don't know, 100 gigabytes of data coming in, you can look at the whole entire thing, or you can only look at 50% and create your sample from there. Or you can look at 75%, or you can decide how much data, and based on that sampling, the information is going to be coming in. This is why I said App Insight can get noisy if not controlled, because again, that's a lot of data coming in. So apply sampling on high volume data. And if you haven't watched that video, please do so. That's where I go in and I show you exactly where you can change that sampling. So that's commandment number 4, sample when noisy. Commandment number 5, favor metric alerts over log entries, because log entries are more expensive. So in Azure Monitor, there's 2 ways that you can check the data. You can look at a metric. So for example, if you want to look at a metric like a CPU utilization, you can go in there and you can look at the metric that says CPU utilization is 50%, 75%, whatever it is. You can look at that. That's a very thin, very slim, very easy to look at entry in the log analytics workspace. The other way is you can do a KQL search for that information in the logs, but that's going to cost you more. So when you can use metrics, don't use a log analytics workspace query, because it's going to cost you more. So this is what it says: favor metrics over log analytics queries. Commandment number 6, there's caps and there's budgets. Set a daily cap and use cost management budgets to avoid surprises. In the video, when we talked about data retention, I show you how you can set up daily caps. This is a strategy where you can decide how much you're going to spend on a daily basis. There's some people that don't like this strategy because they say, well, once I hit that cap, I'm not going to be ingesting anymore. And that's true. So really make sure you look at your business and make sure you understand how much data is coming in. And you can put a daily cap, but make sure that you're capturing the necessary data. This is more of a jackhammer approach, if I can call it that way. It's very harsh. You can use transformations to make sure your data is coming in, but in some cases you do need to have a daily cap where you say, you know what, stop. Once it gets to this level, you're gonna go ahead and stop at that point. The other thing is set up a budget. Make sure that you set up an alert, so when the budget is almost getting to that level where you set it, it will send you a message and it will say, hey, your budget is almost there, and you can pay attention and the cost is not going to get out of control. So this is commandment number 6, which is caps and budgets. Commandment number 7, plans per table. I cannot emphasize enough about this. Use basic, analytics, and auxiliary logs, and plan appropriately for this. Every table in the log analytics workspace allows you, well, some of them do, some of them don't, but every table has specific things that you can and you cannot change. But one of the things that you should do is, if it can't be changed to basic log, change to basic log. So plan appropriately. Just make sure that you plan it, and also make sure that you use basic and analytic tables. Commandment number 8, tag resources for chargeback and automate cleanup of orphan diagnostics. In the series, at the end of the series, I showed you on how you can set up a strategy where you can set up 2 data collection rules, one of them that collects a lot more data and one that collects less fields. And you can change that data collection rule using a policy, and also using a tag. So when you change the tag on a VM, for example, or a resource, it doesn't need to be a VM. If you change the tag on a resource, then the policy will notice that you changed the tag, and it will apply a different DCR, or data collection rule. This data collection rule will allow you to gather more data, to collect more data. It's more like a troubleshooting method that you can do. You can turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. So control the cost using tags and using governance. Again, Azure Policy, it's a great tool that you can use to check the tag. If the tag changes, then Azure Policy will apply a different data collection rule. So commandment number 8, we're looking at tagging and governance. This is one that you should remember because it will definitely save you money. And when it's time to collect more, it'll be so easy for you to just toggle the two. Commandment number 9, AI for anomalies. Enable anomaly detection. Use AI to find hidden cost spikes early. There's anomaly detection that you can turn on and you can turn it off. You can use AI. There's a lot of different things. I think I'm going to be doing a video on how you can create an agent, on how you can check or look for specific things. Like I said, Azure Copilot does give you a lot of functionality when it comes to checking the log analytics workspace. You can ask questions like, how's the CPU? You can ask a lot of questions, but it is to a certain extent a little bit limited. If you want to set up an agent that will do a root cause analysis, that's something that you would have to do yourself. Not that difficult to do, but you do have to combine it with some KQL queries and some Azure search and things like that. Hopefully I'll be able to do that for you and show you, but that's one of the commandments that I'm adding here. Use AI for anomalies. It's going to be much easier and much faster for you to find anomalies. So that's commandment number 9. We're looking at AI for anomalies. And last but not least, commandment number 10. Commandment number 10 is policy guardrails. Use Azure Policy. Use RBAC to enforce rules and prevent costly mistakes. Why is this a commandment in itself? The reason I put it as a commandment by itself is because it is so important to automate things. Cloud is a very flexible environment. And we always say cloud gives you the flexibility, the agility. It gives you all this power. But I think the main power is the automation portion of things. You need to understand how to automate things, and the more you automate, the better your life it's going to be. For me, Azure Monitor is a great tool, but it can get out of control as far as the cost because it's just so much data coming in. So having a strategy around it, it's great. But not only having a strategy around it, but also having an automation strategy. And this is why I use Azure Policy and all the RBAC and things like that, because Azure Policy is that method that allows you like I said, to create 2 DCRs, data collection rules, and you can toggle between the 2. You can even set up 3. It really doesn't matter how many you set up. You just have to set up a strategy. The tagging is the one that controls. You can even set up three DCRs, one for informational, one for warning, one for critical, just kind of like how we do in syslogs and things like that. You can do the same thing. You can just toggle that tag and Azure Policy will do the rest. Script, map, mnemonic. These are the 10 commandments for saving money in Azure Monitor. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video was helpful and beneficial. I hope this series was helpful and beneficial as well. And I hope you learned something. And again, thank you so much for being part of this channel. Thank you so much for joining me in these videos. I hope you like this video, and if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for staying all the way to the end of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.